In this video, you will configure an API for Twitter accounts, set up a social portal radius service on the FortiAuthenticator, and configure the Fortigate for captive portal access. Wi-Fi authentication using social media provides access control without having to manually create guest accounts, allowing users to log into the Wi-Fi by supplying their Twitter account. The FortiAuthenticator has been given an example FQDN of fortiauthenticator.example.com. First of all, open a browser and log into your Twitter account. Then browse to apps.twitter.com and create a new application. Enter a name, description, and website for the application. In the callback URL field, enter the FortiAuthenticator FQDN, followed by /social/complete/Twitter/. Accept the developer agreement and create your Twitter application. Go to Keys and Access Tokens to view your consumer key and consumer secret. These will be required later when configuring the captive portal on the FortiAuthenticator. On the FortiAuthenticator, go to Authentication, User Management, User Groups, and create a user group. Users that log into Twitter will be placed in this group once it is added to the captive portal. Next, go to Authentication, Radius Service, Clients, and create a new Radius client. The Fortigate is going to be the Radius client. Enter a name, the internet-facing IP address of the Fortigate, and the pre-shared secret, and set authentication method to password-only authentication. Add the social users user group to the realms group filter. Enable social portal and select OK. Next, go to Authentication, Captive Portal, General, and enable Social Portal. Set the account expiry time and set Place Registered Users into a group to the user group created earlier. Enable the Twitter login option and enter your Twitter consumer key and consumer secret. And select OK. On the Fortigate, go to User and Device, Authentication, Radius Service, and create the connection to the FortiAuthenticator Radius server, using its IP and pre-shared secret. Next, go to User and Device, User Groups, and create a Radius user group. Ensure type is set to Firewall, and add the Radius server to the Remote Groups table. Next, go to Wi-Fi and Switch Controller, Wi-Fi Network, SSID, and edit the SSID interface. Under Wi-Fi settings, set the security mode to Captive Portal. Set the authentication portal to External and enter the FortiAuthenticator FQDN, followed by /social_login/. Set user groups to the social users group, and select OK. The following step requires you to configure firewall addresses to allow users to access the Twitter login page. This can be performed in the CLI, however it's only preferable if you have many addresses to add. For this configuration, it's best to perform it in the GUI. Go to Policy and Objects, Objects, Addresses, and create the following Twitter address exemptions. Set each address type to FQDN and enter their FQDNs. create a new address group, and add the addresses as members to the group. Next, go to Policy and Objects, Policy, IPv4, and create a policy for Twitter authentication traffic. Set incoming interface to the Wi-Fi SSID interface, and set source address to all. Set outgoing interface to the internet-facing interface, and set destination address to Twitter auth. Set service to all, and enable NAT. Once created, note the policy ID. You can do this by using the ID column. Next, open the CLI console and enter the following. This will exempt the Twitter authentication traffic policy you just added from the captive portal. Next, go to Policy and Objects, Objects, Addresses, and add the FortiAuthenticator firewall object. Set subnet IP range to the IP address of the FortiAuthenticator. Next, go to Policy and Objects, Policy, IPv4, and create the FortiAuthenticator access policy. Set incoming interface to the Wi-Fi SSID interface, and set source address to all. Set outgoing interface to the internet-facing interface, and set destination address to FortiAuthenticator. Set service to all, and enable NAT. Once created, note the FortiAuthenticator policy ID, and move the FortiAuthenticator policy above the Twitter policy. Then move the Twitter policy so it's directly underneath the FortiAuthenticator policy. In the CLI console, enter the following. This will exempt the FortiAuthenticator access policy you just added from the captive portal. Connect to the Wi-Fi, open a browser, and attempt to browse the internet. You will be redirected to the captive portal splash page. Select Twitter, and you should be redirected to the Twitter login page. Enter and submit valid Twitter credentials. And you will be redirected to the URL you initially requested. You can now browse freely until the captive portal social login account expires. To change the social login settings on the FortiAuthenticator, go to Authentication, Captive Portal, General. To see users that have authenticated with social media on the FortiAuthenticator, go to Authentication, User Management, Social Login Users. Thank you for watching. If you need further details, visit docs.fortinet.com to access our complete documentation library. Also check out cookbook.fortinet.com for more tutorials and videos like this one.